lovely friends. So I used to say good morning, ladies, all the time, but now that we've opened it up to the Facebook page, I'm not totally convinced that it's all going to be ladies. So now I have to just say good morning, friends. Good morning, everyone. Anyway, it's good to see you. I posted a video a little while ago, a YouTube video. I put together a Todd Agnew song called My Jesus. And if you listen to it, if you haven't listened to it yet, I encourage you to go listen to it. It's really, it'll get you thinking. I love a lot of his music for exactly that reason. But anyway, and so I wanted to talk about, a conversation that I recently had with a friend and kind of what that looks like and what I'm thinking of when I think of this group that we've put together. So this started out as a small messenger group. We had about 6 or 7 ladies, maybe a couple more, might have been up to 8, but and it was very active, and we were all sharing with each other and sharing music and sharing encouragement and sharing positive things and Bible verses and praying with each other. And we still have that small messenger group because we like having that small close-knit sisterhood. But we wanted to expand it and invite all of you to come and participate. And invite your friends, bring them here. We want this to be a space where people can feel loved. And what we are trying to do is we have this vision about what would the church look like if we all looked more like Jesus. And I know that's been said a million times. I mean, people say that all the time. Churches say that all the time. Pastors say that all the time. But really, truly, what does that mean? To look like Jesus, to love like Jesus, to, present ourselves like Jesus to the world. And so, a lot of times people outside of church and, organized religion, they kind of tend to think that Christians are judging them because of the way that they live or the choices that they make. And we definitely don't want to do that. And as, like the cover photo for this page, says, we're all broken. Don't let the stained glass fool you. Just because we belong to a church or we affiliate with some religious, organization somewhere, that doesn't mean that we aren't broken people. The whole reason we're there is because we're broken people, and we know that we need that to keep ourselves together. And so, so we want to definitely approach people in a way that is loving. And so when you start thinking about that, what did that look like when Jesus was loving to people? If you go throughout the Bible, you see where Jesus, he comes to the people who are broken and hurting and, struggling. And the first thing that he does is he touches them, he heals them, he presents to them. Sometimes he says, listen, I know who you are. I see your sin. I see what's going on. But I love you. Just don't do it anymore, And so what's happened over time is that we love you, don't do it anymore, that has come off as, we love you, but only if you stop. And that shouldn't be what it is. The idea should be that when people come in the door, that we can wrap our arms around them no matter what their sin is, no matter what their struggles are, because we recognize that our sin is no different, no better, no worse than any of theirs. Some sins are just more out there than others, more in the open, not, like crazy out there, although there's that too, I suppose. But it's not that my sin is better or more acceptable than someone else's sin, but mine's just maybe at this moment in my life are not as obvious. That's not to say that they haven't always been. There have been times definitely in my life when my sins were out there in the open for everybody to see. And, now when people come to church and they see me, or when they see me out, people frequently apologize to me if they curse in front of me. And I've never judged anybody or, been like, oh, don't say those words around me. I've never been like that, but it's interesting that there's something about my presence that makes people think, oh, I shouldn't talk like that around her, or I shouldn't say that. And, that's okay, but I I don't think that I have done anything to cause that, other than I hope that it's because they see Jesus in me and they want to not do that in that presence, you know? I mean, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, so my friend and I were talking about this, and we said, you know, how full would the churches be if everybody in church looked like Jesus? Not like, you know, looked like him, like, you know, the pictures that we see of Jesus, which are not even accurate, so, you know, that doesn't even matter, but, you know, so not like that, but like that we loved and accepted people from the moment they came in the door, that they felt welcome, that they felt like, you know, this was a place where they could be and where they could let go. And, you know, one of the thoughts and the ideas that I've had and that I've talked about with some of my people, some of my friends and, you know, people around me, we've talked about once you get past this idea of acceptable sins and you stop treating some sins as it's okay to bring to church and some sins you can't ever bring to church. And we definitely don't want to glorify sin by, you know, coming in, and we don't want to be bragging about, you know, oh, I do this, and, you know, it's not like that. But we have to be able to bring the things that we struggle with into the church. We have to be able to acknowledge that this is something that I struggle with, that this is a thing. Because if we can't bring the things that are tying us down into church to the people who can help us get free from it, to, you know, to the people who will pray with us, who will lift us up, who will encourage us, you know, the people that can show us the scripture, and you know, people say all the time that a church is like a hospital for brokenhearted people. Well, I have a little bit of an issue. I've said this to a friend recently too. I have a little bit of an issue with that idea. And the reason that I have that issue is because people go to a hospital because they know that they're sick. and I don't think that the church, people don't automatically go to the church because they know that they need help with whatever their particular struggle is. I think that oftentimes we are deceived and we walk around in the middle of our struggles without realizing that it's something we need to be free from. And a lot of times you don't realize that you needed to be free from it until you find freedom from it, and then you realize how different your life feels. You don't see that ahead of time. People go to the hospital because there's somebody there that can fix them and that can help them. And I don't think that people always see that they need to go to church so that someone can help them get free, you know. So I think that's a little bit of an off analogy. So, you know, I think our job is to, once we've been there and we've found freedom from whatever our struggles are, we need to be willing to say, you know, I used to struggle with this, and I found the most amazing freedom in the love and the acceptance and the encouragement of these people. And if we are not being loving, accepting, and encouraging, are we really being like Jesus? Are we really loving people like Jesus? Because Jesus didn't say, I will love you when you straighten up. Jesus didn't say, well, I love you, but I don't like you. He never said that. He said, I love you. There was a period after that. There was nothing else. It was, I love you. I love you because God created you. I love you because I know you. I love you because I see you, you know, and that's where we have to be. And we can't have expectations of people based on what we have already learned and know, because they haven't learned and known it. So we can't expect them to behave in a certain way because they might not have any clue that what they're doing is, you know, is wrong, or, you know, is according to God's will not acceptable. And, you know, if they come into church and we say, well, you're sinning and you have to stop doing that, that we've skipped a whole bunch of things about why. Why do I need to? Why do you think I need to get free from this thing? I'm going about my life perfectly fine, and I don't see any reason to change that. And who are you to tell me that I have to change, you know? And so we have to stop approaching people like that, and we have to be willing to be vulnerable and to let them see that we struggle, that we have always struggled, and that the only way that we are free from the things that try to put us into bondage is because we laid them at the feet of Jesus and we let them go. And let's be real, we haven't let everything go. If we had let everything go, we would already be perfect and we would already be sitting in heaven. God would be like, okay, my work here is done. You come, hang out with me. And we're not perfect. If I died right now, I would get to heaven and have something that God would be like, hey, you still got this thing. What's going on here? And we have to be open and honest about that. We cannot present ourselves in a way that says, well, my life used to be a mess, but now it's perfect because God made it perfect. And that's not how it is. So anyway, I just want to challenge everybody today to think about what would it look like if the church being all the people, not the building where we go. Some of us don't belong to a specific church. Some of us don't have a congregation that we meet with. We'll talk about that another day. But, maybe, we are the church. We are the whole body of Christians that live in the whole world. That is the church. And so we have to get outside of the stained glass walls, and we have to present ourselves to the people, and we have to love on the people, and we have to do it the way Jesus did it. And it's okay to say, I love that person, but I don't love what they did. Jesus, that's how Jesus says. Jesus doesn't say, well, I love you, but I don't like you. Jesus says, I love you, but I can't be in the presence of that particular sin, that activity, that thing and I cannot reside in the same body. And so, the other thing that we have to remember is that we can point to things, and say, did you know that God says this about this thing? But I don't think that we should, we're not going to be able to free them from it. That's not our job. Our job is not to free someone from their captivity, from their sin, from their struggles. That's not us. Our job is to show them Jesus, and Jesus will show them the things that he wants to work on in them and reveal himself to them in a way that will make them decide to change things about themselves. Jesus is the only one who can reveal himself to people. We just have to be kind of the bridge to say, look, this is what Jesus looks like in human form. and this is how he loves. Let me show you, because I can love you like that. So can you think about the person that you struggle the most with, the sin that you struggle most with? There's a sin somewhere that you struggle with that let's see. Okay, my thing is going very dim. All right, hold on. It adjusted the light, I think. Anyway, it might be getting too hot. That might be it. All right. So anyway, I'm gonna let this go. You guys think about the people that that have a sin that you just can't reconcile, that you make a judgment about that person as soon as you know that they struggle with that sin. I want you to think about that. And then I want you to think about how Jesus would have dealt with that. How would he have loved them through that, knowing that they had that struggle, that they had that sin? I want you to think about that. All right. So anyway, if you haven't watched the video, My Jesus, go and look at it. Check it out. It has a lot of interesting images in it. And let's think about, what does Jesus look like to us? And how do we look more like that to other people? Actually, look more like Jesus, whether it's our vision of Jesus or a different one. All right. I love you all. I will see you soon. Bye.